Hello and welcome to this video. And in today's video we're going to be installing something that basically saves lives. As an electrician we install a lot of them. If there's ever any smoke or any fire building up in someone's house, this is going to save your life. So what I'm talking about is smoke detectors. And mains powered smoke detectors too, with a battery backup. You can get these battery powered smoke alarms, but when the batteries go flat, how many people actually replace them? You don't, you just let them go flat. And where we're going to be installing them is in the landing and in the hallway downstairs, which is a minimum requirement for any property that is let in the UK. So what we've got is these ACO alarms that, if you look on the back, they recommend to be installed an optical sensor, ideal for hallway, landing and living room areas, best for slow smouldering fires, e.g. sofas and TVs. Because if someone sits there with a fag and drops a sofa, someone sits there with a fag and drops it on the sofa, that sofa's going to go up. But what if you've got a TV from the car boot sale and that and that decides to smoke? Well, this is going to let you know, because it's an optical smoke alarm. So as we unpack the box, what we get is the actual smoke alarm. And what I like about these as well, they come with a little dust cover for when you install them in new builds and the paint has got to come along. You put these on, even says dust cover on it. You put these on and it will stop the painter making it go off with his paint. So you can put these on after, ready for the painter or decorator to come along and finish his decorating. So it doesn't get paint all around it because they look ugly. And these alarms, they come with a 10-year lifespan. Basically, they say inside them, replaced by February 2034. So no, it's not February yet, but basically it's got a shelf life of 10 years, which normally they last a lot longer than that. And this has got a battery built in, so it's automatically being recharged all the time with mains power. And all the ACO alarms, they come with exactly the same base. This base is where you actually fix to the ceiling and you wire it to. So you open it up, and this is where all the terminations go. You've got your live, your neutral, and your signal wire. I'm going to show you what that's for in a little while, and obviously your earth terminal. And they do also come with some screws. Normally they're pants, so you're probably best off using your own. So first then, let's mark out where they're going to go. So let's get them symmetrical. Say, for the hallway, 60 and 50. So there we're going to put it. With these alarms as well, the cable terminations, they don't come out center. So if you go off center, sometimes it doesn't matter, but if you want to keep it nice and neat and symmetrical with maybe some lights or maybe symmetrical together, always have a look at where the cable has to come out inside, because once you fix this to the ceiling, you can't get this center. So you want to get it to come on. So you want to get the cables to come off center into the terminations. So there we've got this 60, and we're going to put this one down here in the hallway, which is also 60. 15. So the best way to mark out is take this off, and then you can get your pencil or pen inside this hole to mark, and that one in the middle, that'll be your center. So once you've marked your center, put it up where it's going to go. I don't know why, but I like to get them nice and level, and mark out your hole. So that is going to be a hole where your cables come through. And again, nice and straight, mark out your hole. Let's get this camera up. So if you look on here, this is going to be the center. So if you get it all symmetrical, then you mark out your hole where the cables are going to come through. So then you won't come through in the center. So basically these two smoke alarms will be symmetrical with each other. And then what you want to wire a smoke alarm in is 1.5 or 1 mil cable. It doesn't pull a lot of current, so it'll be on a 6 amp fuse. So let's drill the holes for where we're going to wire the cables. And on the ceiling, sometimes it's best to save yourself getting a lot of mess and dust in your eyes. Use a little dade. Perfect. And then obviously just put it on the floor, like electricians do. Now it's always a good idea to have your smoke alarms on their own individual circuit. But if you can't, yes, you're allowed to come off a lighting circuit, maybe if you can pick up a live and neutral from the lighting circuit. But in this scenario, we're going to wire it from the board. And we're going to wire it from the board in 1.5 mil cable. So to the first smoke alarm, you just want a live and a neutral. But to carry on for the rest of the smoke alarms, you want to do it in a 3-core, which is 3-core and earth, because you're going to need the IC signal wire as well. Basically, that is for when, if one alarm goes off, they all go off. So if there's a fire, the whole hell will break loose, which is exactly what you want, because you don't want the alarm to be going off downstairs, and more likely just ignore it, it'll be fine. We'll figure it out in the morning why it's going off. You want it to go off in the whole house. If there's a fire, you want to let everyone know to get the hell out. So from the first smoke alarm, you want to wire up in 1.5 3-core. And if you can use the downlights that come down to route your cable, it's even more of a bonus. So there you go. From the board, we have a 1.5, and to the next one we have a 3-core, which goes up to here, which we can chop that off. And then if you were putting in more than 2, you can just carry it on, but carry it on in 3-core, because you'll also want to carry on the signal wire. So then now to fix the bases. And then obviously we've got the base, and we'll label it, we'll mark it out nice and neat, just with 2 fixings. The fixings you're going to use just poke through the polystyrene bit on the back. So you can put them in, you've got no end of fixings on there, you can even fix them to a box if you need to. But to mark out these fixings, there we go. And then with this one also, and unfortunately this time we haven't hit any joists, so we can't just screw straight into a plasterboard. We're going to put plasterboard fixings in, and the fixing we use we'll call pigtails. So these little pigtails are go into the plasterboard, so it'll hold it more than enough to hold the smoke alarm up. And you can go in direct, do it with a drill. go. So these fit straight onto your Phillips head, crosshead, straight onto the plasterboard, and you just make their own hole. There we go. And now to fix the bases up. So unpack them. Obviously we've got two. So we'll unpack the both, get the other one out. Take the little cap off. You'll put that back on after, but you'll need it off for terminating anyway, so take it off. And fix your bases up. You always know whether you got a good fixing because your drill driver will crack. If it doesn't crack and it spins, you know it's going to come down sooner or later. So let's get a couple more screws. So listen to it crack. There we go, ratchet. So that is not going anywhere. They're fixed up because the last thing you want is them to fall down in the customer's house. They'll say the smoke alarms come down. So make sure you get a nice tight fixing. I've been to no end of smoke alarms where they're just fitted up through the plasterboard. Well, over time, they're going to fall down. So put something in there like pigtails, just for a decent fixing. All you're putting up is the smoke alarm, so these will be more than enough to hold it up. Right, now to terminate. So with these, obviously you've got plenty of slack in the ceiling as well. So if you pull plenty off, same again with this end, off the 3/4 and off of the twin and earth, the 1.5. Oh, that's a bit tough. So this is your main one. So what I want to do is basically get the earths, because this is going to go in just enough so your cabling is in there. So you want to get your earths to come round and they will go into the earth terminal. Knock them off. And your lives will swoop round, get them together. Oh, wrong way. Your lives, it's nice to have a nice swoop round so they're not completely tight in there. So your lives will go around into your live terminal, which is obviously the brown, which is quite conveniently marked brown on there as well. Now on the 3/4, your grey is going to be your neutral. So once this goes in, also you'll have your neutral on there. Ooh, it's a bit tricky. And then this one will be your signal wire, which will go straight into the IC. So the grey cable, hang about. So then now you've formed them all at the right. Now you've formed them all at the right length. Chop them, or terminate them off. Let's get that. Will be plenty. That. There. 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 Well, these little Nipex ones have got your little bits in there, so they make it a little bit easier. You can just do it with the normal, but why not if you make it easier? Right, so now let's put on the grey. You want to put a bit of blue sleeve in, because obviously that identifies as the neutral. And the signal wire will also be live, so put a bit of live sleeving on that as well. And then we have 2 earths. Which we'll put this on here as well. Right, then now to get them in nice and neat, which we're going for the earth first. This might be a plastic fitting, but the earth is to protect the cable, not just the fitting. Sometimes they're a bit of a tight fitting here, but you get them in as neat as possible. Right, so then these 2 go in here. And when you've got one cable going in, like this one, you've got one. To get that better connection, bend it over at the end. There we go. You'll get a better connection inside there. So then we want to swoop this round into your live, and this round into your live, and get them nice and tight in there, because if you can see copper, then you've done a rubbish job. Oh, there we go, nice and tight. Get it in there. There we go. And then we'll do the signal wire, because that is next in line. IC. Get that in there. It's easier doing it with one cable. Give it a little bit of a tug. Confident it's in there, but it's nice to give it a tug. And then that one's at the back, so let's form this one over to go in. There we go. Form this one over. To go in as well. There we go. And there we go. There, I've got a nice loop in there. The no cables are under strain, as you can see. And there the lives, the signal wire, the IC, and the neutral. And now to do the other end. Well, this one is going to be a little bit easier because you've only got one cable, so you can form it in a bit neater. So let's get that off there. That's gone a bit squee with. Get rid of that earth. Didn't happen, that didn't, did it? So let's get these all at the same time. And then again, because this has got the grey in there, we need to identify it as a neutral. So put some neutral, well, some blue sleeving on it. Again, the signal wire, put some brown sleeving on. And obviously the earth. As these have all got one going into them, what we can do is double them over. Just to get that little bit better connection. There we go. So then we'll go with the neutral. And they're nice and tight. The IC signal wire, nice and tight fit. Now to connect it up at the board end and test it. Right, so I connected it up at the board end, testing, and the board will be a whole new video. So now we've got your live and your neutral. And then at the second one, you've also got your live and your neutral. So put your clips back on. So then we'll put this back over the terminals. So if anyone does ever need to change that smoke detector, they don't have to go near any of the terminals. They can't get a shock, basically. And then it's just a simple matter of switching it on. There we go. That's all on. If these alarms ever need to come off, I see people smash the hell out of them because they can't figure out how to get them off. Well, it's easy. It's just getting a small terminal screwdriver and poking them in there. That releases the clip for them to slide off, and they come off that simple. Just if you look around the edge, you can see it says stick your screwdriver in there. It tells you what to do. So yeah, you just got to get up to it and slip your screwdriver in there to release that. And then with a smoke alarm, there's one final test. Now, as there's smoke alarms, there's one final test. Both going. There we go. They're both interconnected smoke alarms. And what I like about these ACO smoke alarms as well is they come with a sticker. On this sticker, you can say when they're installed, how many of alarms you've installed on that circuit, and basically a little smoke alarm sticker for the fuse board to show the dedicated circuit for them alarms. And on here as well, they've got little instructions on how to test them, because obviously you should test your smoke alarms regularly. And if a lot of people didn't know, all these people that smashed them off the ceiling because they went off at one point, it also says on here how to remove them by slotting your screwdriver in. And then ready for the painter. So that's how you install 2 mains battery backup ACO smoke alarms. Stay safe. So whenever you're doing a rewire, make sure to include a couple of smoke alarms.